So let's take a look at the text. The infamous Lisette quitté la plaine. Lisette has left the plain, I have lost my joy. My eyes look like fountains since I last saw you. By day when I cut sugar cane, I miss my beloved. By night when I lay in bed, in sleep I hold you. If you go to the city, you'll find young dandies who deceive women with their mouths sweeter than syrup. You'll think they are sincere. While they are very cunning, they are deceptive serpents who cry rat to deceive them being the women. Since I lost Lisette, I haven't touched the kalinda. I have left the bram bram sonnet. I haven't beat the bambula. When I meet other women, they do not catch my eye. I do not care about work. All that mattered to me has died. I am skinny as a stem. My leg is like a reed. Food is not sweet to my mouth. Booze is like water. When I think of you, Lisette, tears fill my eyes. My manners have become stupid from the force of my despair. And then in a wild turn of fate, Lisette, I heard news you intend to return soon. Come then, still faithful. Seeing is better than hearing. Delay no more. You've made me sad enough. I am like a bird stuck in a cage when they starve it to death. Of course, the cage now not being the literal slavery in which this narrator exists, but the slavery of love, right? I want to point out a few things that we have in this poem, things that we wouldn't have known if we didn't have this text. The first is, in the second verse, we have anxiety about her leaving and going to the city. So clearly Lisette has a little more social mobility than this man who works in the sugarcane field. Was she enslaved in the house? Is she a mixed race person and therefore able to move around in general, right? These are all questions that we have and are true, in fact, of an enslaved experience. But we have this kanjo. Kanjo, in the written, the kanjo is an ambiguous term that seems to describe, Moreau de Saint-Méry uses a French word that implies a dandy, a fop, a well-dressed man, but we also know them to be, they can be enslaved. Sometimes they're used to describe enslaved people of higher status than other enslaved people. And how so? They could be higher status in that they were born on the island. Most of the enslaved people in Saint-Domingue in the 18th century were actually newcomers from West Africa. So the number of folks on the island, both enslaved and non-enslaved, were the vast minority. So there are ways in which a Creole who is from the island can exert power over those who are new. And this man, and by the way, the term for the newcomers, the new enslaved people is bossal. So we have this dichotomy between the kanjo and the bossal. Kanjo can also imply a lighter-skinned person, a mulatto, for example, right? So there are a number of people who can, young men, handsome young men, who are also known to be quite duplicitous with women. These are the stereotypes that we find in the literary record. Please remember that I have not read this and I've not written about it, but it is my belief that the kanjo referred to in many of these folk songs from Haiti is the banjo that we find in Louisiana. If any of you are familiar with the Gade Petit Milat La, Monsieur Banjo, you have one enslaved black person expressing anxiety over this light-skinned man who dresses up and thinks he's so much better. And kanjo and banjo rhyme with each other. What is the likelihood that they could even be different, right? Which begs the question, who should be singing that song and what is actually happening? Because usually we hear it and everyone's having fun. But back to Lisette quitté la plaine. Kanjo, remember that. Second thing, we have a kalinda. Kalinda is a dance, a lascivious dance, very, very suggestive in its movements. We have the bambula. The bambula is a kind of drum made from a rum barrel. We find both the kalinda and the bambula in songs in Louisiana and in songs, we find the instrument also in Louisiana. So remember that you saw this here in this document of Lisette. Finally, I'd like to point out how at the end of the song, I am like a bird in a cage that is starving to death. That is how Moreau de Saint-Méry ends his. In the next version of Lisette, the end changes. So, Nick and I will perform 3 verses of the original Lisette, Quitté la plaine. 4 verses.
Lisette, quitte la plaine, mon perdu bonheur à mourir. Pieux à moi semblent les fontaines, du piment pas rétouir. Les jours commencent au pécan, nos songes amour à mourir. La nuit comme dans cabane, d'endormir mon cabétouir. Sitôt allé à la ville, t'as trouvé un cancho qui gagne pour tromper fille, bouche d'où passe sirop. T'en vas crier au bain sincère, pendant qu'il y a qu'aucun trop. Ces serpents qui contrevèrent, crier à vous tromper. Depuis mon perdu Lisette, mon pas touché Kalina, mon quitté Bram sonnette, mon pas battre tamboula. Quand mon contré l'art négresse, mon pas gagné j'ai bouli, mon pas souci travail pièce, tout qui